Hey, everybody. Welcome to another edition of the Bolt City podcast. The game just ended between the Chargers and the Seattle Seahawks. I'm Dave Palais, Josh Palais, Mario Heron, here to talk with you about what just happened at the game as the Chargers fall to 4-3 on the season. They lose today by a final score of 37-23. Am I correct on that now that I just said it? It sounded a little bit strange. Yeah, 37-23. It was just in my mind. That wasn't even what was important. I kept thinking, guys, as I'm watching this game, all right, there's still time to turn this around. Things are going to get better because going into the game, as we talk about point spreads a lot nowadays, Chargers were favored by 7. We had the better quarterback. They didn't have a quarterback as good as ours. And I'm going, there's still time. And then everything just started to fall apart to the point they couldn't catch up. And we're going, what kind of team are we watching? Josh, I'll throw it at you because I know out of the three of us right now, and we're all very frustrated. You seem the most frustrated.
You nailed it. We played catch up the entire game, which sucks. But, okay, this is why I'm upset the most. It's actually impressive to make a quarterback like Justin Herbert look that confused. Like, it's hard to make him look that uncomfortable. I just don't understand why we don't have Keenan Allen in the game when he was healthy and Mike Williams on the crucial third downs. There's a huge situation earlier in the game. It was a big third down, and we had Michael Bandy, Jason Moore, and DeAndre Carter on the field. Why the hell aren't our two top receivers in the game? It reminds me of when Reggie Bush was on the sideline for USC against Texas. Yeah. At least have him on the field as a decoy, dude. I just don't understand where our thinking is at. Justin Herbert, again, throws the ball 50-plus times. That, once again, is a recipe for disaster for Justin Herbert. If he's throwing that ball that many times, we're just in a bad spot and we're playing catch-up the entire game, which we were today.
Yeah, the offense was just a big pile of crap that came from a baby that was left set out, that was eaten by an animal and then pooped out again. It was god awful. It was one of the worst things I've ever seen. I didn't understand anything that we were doing. Bandy, he's fun to have on field. Short little white guy runs around fast. Like, oh, this is fun. It's like a cartoon. But he shouldn't be in on our key downs, and he shouldn't be thrown to. Herbert's arguably top 3 quarterback in the league, and we made him look like he's bottom half. Mm-hmm. Defense gave him so many chances to come back in this game. We didn't. I've never been more frustrated by Lombardi. I've never been more frustrated by the Chargers. I've never felt worse for people that went to that game.
It's amazing because I felt the exact same way when they lost to Jacksonville. Like one of those, how did you see it coming? And you know what? Jacksonville isn't a good team. Though one of the questions we were trying to sell ourselves on when they got embarrassed by Jacksonville at home was, well, maybe Jacksonville's a lot better than we thought. And you know what? They aren't. Jacksonville's a garbage team. And you're going, you couldn't beat a team that flew 3,000 miles to play. That's a garbage team that's in a rebuilding mode like Jacksonville. This was the same exact thing. Seattle went into this season going, we're going to have a really tough road. We're going to get rid of our franchise quarterback, Russell Wilson. We're going to get rid of Bobby Wagner. We're basically have 2 good wide receivers, and no one else on this team is going to be a proven player. And we're going to sit there and do the best we can to get Bryce Young or whatever quarterback they plan on using for the next 10, 15 years. That was the plan, was to eat garbage this year. Yet this team is 4-3 in the NFC West. Pete Carroll has done a great job as far as what they're doing. I still can't believe Geno Smith is as productive as he is. It's amazing that he's played 7 games and he's putting up the numbers he's putting up. I can't get over it, guys. When they put up the numbers that in 10 years he's only thrown 44 touchdown passes, you shake your head and you're going, this guy is beating our asses today? And you're going looking at this Charger team and you're going, what are we doing that's good? I mean, we could not stop the run. It was like amazing how many times got just more yardage and more yardage. And go like, well, we stopped the ball. There's going to be a tackle. There's 5 more yards. There's 6 more yards. There's 70 more yards that guys are getting. And you're shaking your head saying, how is this the NFL? How is it that Staley, Lombardi, every guy on that coaching staff needs to look themselves in the mirror? I almost feel like 90% of the players need to look themselves in the mirror. I'm definitely more frustrated today than I was after the Jacksonville game because I thought they turned the corner. They're riding a winning streak. They're heading into a bye week. This is where you go 5-2. The Chiefs knock off the Niners, and you're going, we're going to sit here and hang with what the Chiefs are doing because they have a bye week too. And the Chiefs come out of their bye week facing the Titans, a decent team on Sunday Night Football, and the Chargers come back facing the Falcons. This is a chance for you to have control of first place in the AFC West, and this is the performance you put out. And I'm asking you guys, who do you point the finger at on the field first before you start going for coaches? Because Justin Herbert's still a young guy, okay? Keenan Allen shocked us all that he was even going to play today, but he really didn't play today. What was the point? What was the point of that? There was just no one else available. Well, if that's the case and you're using him as a decoy because he might be able to do something, then just like Josh said, why isn't he on the field in important downs to at least give that pick to the defense that, hey, number 13 is a guy they always go to in these situations? So what was the point of putting him in uniform today?
There is no point of putting him in uniform today. If he's going to get out of the game just like he did at the beginning, it just deflates your team. There's no purpose of having him on the field if he's not ready to go. We're going into the bye week, like you said. We're going for a 4th win in a row. We're going to have big-time confidence going into the bye week because the Chiefs just kicked the crap out of the 49ers, if anybody watched that game. They look like the best team in the NFL. On the other hand, we look like crap. If I had to point the finger to one guy on the team, and I hate to do this, dude, because I don't think he's playing that bad, but, dude, he kind of looks like one of the worst quarterbacks in the league right now is Justin Herbert. He just looks confused, man. I've never seen Justin Herbert look the way he has these last few weeks, where he looks like he doesn't know where the check down is. He's not reading his guys right. Him and Gerald Everett seem like they're never really on the same page either. I don't understand what the hell's going on in the offense. If I had to point the finger at one guy on the field, it would have to be Justin Herbert.
I'd actually have to agree. There's so many times where he missed open guys tonight. I mean, I think it was like a 3rd down, he missed open guy in the flat. He's making wrong reads. The interception that was intended for DeAndre Carter, that made no sense at all. There's 3 guys in that area and 1 of our guys in that area. Why are you throwing that? At the end of the day, it starts with the quarterback. It starts with that. Yeah, the play calling wasn't the best, but you also got to make a read, and it starts with him. But I also want to point a finger at Keenan Allen. You're a leader on this team. You're a veteran on this team. It screams a lot when you are done at half. It screams a lot when you go out there and it's looking like you're just half-assing it. You're not really out there playing football. It's kind of look like, oh, I'm just kind of here. That's not leadership. People are looking up to you in that. That's not leadership. That's not anything. 2 guys I just pull my finger out right away. I don't know what's going on with Herbert. I don't know what's going on with the offense. I don't know what Lombardi's saying to him. I don't know what the game plan is, but Herbert's got a big arm, and we're not throwing the ball downfield, and we're doing check down after check down after check down. Let's play to our guys' strengths, and let's get that going, because Herbert throwing the ball downfield is a win for the Chargers, and him doing check downs is not a win for the Chargers ever.
You know, I give you guys a lot of credit right there for calling out Herbert, because usually, you know, as popular as he is, I should say, with this Charger fan base, he's one of those guys that's considered untouchable. Like, how dare you say anything about Justin Herbert? But it is what it is, right? He still hasn't made the postseason. He has a career losing record in the NFL. He's exciting as hell to watch. We all see the potential for him to be great, but yet he hasn't hit that stride, consistently at least hit that stride. And I agree with everything that you guys just said. His decision making was not what you see from a veteran quarterback. I watched a ton of games today. I know you guys did too, and I'm flipping around. I watched Matt Ryan, I thought, just have a terrible game, but Matt Ryan took a beating today in the game I watched in the first morning games for us on the West Coast morning games. And then I just watched the performance that was the worst of the day was Russell Wilson didn't play, so Rippon stepped in for him, and by far the worst quarterback play I've ever seen. But Justin Herbert was number 3. Number 3. I mean, it shouldn't happen that way. He's supposed to be an elite guy. We say on the show, guys, every single week, name the 3 best teams in the AFC. And you know what? We always say the Chargers are number 3. The Chargers at all completely don't look like number 3. That's not number 3. That's not a team that number 1 wins games in the playoffs. That's a team out there you hope gets to the playoffs. That's extremely disappointing, but I think it's time to point the fingers at the guys that actually control the outcome of the games. And that goes to Justin Herbert, that goes to Keenan Allen, that goes to Brandon Staley, that goes to Lombardi. Guys who control the outcome of the games are the guys who I think are letting us down right now. And it's extremely frustrating to go into that bye week at 4-3 when I think preseason predictions, we all had them with 1 loss going into the bye week because we know the schedule gets tougher at the end.
Yeah, this is the easy part of the schedule. Chargers, we say we're a top 3 team in the AFC, like you said. They look like a number 2. They look terrible out there, man. They can't do anything right. They crap the bed literally out there. It's awful to watch. Justin Herbert, the weird thing about his performances the last couple weeks, I don't know if you guys see the same thing that I'm seeing. He is scared to run, dude. Like when he has like the openings in front of him, like he can get a good 6-7 yards. He's just not going for it. Is he still hurt? That's my question watching the game. Does he not want to run?
Do you think they tell him not to?
That's a good question. I have no idea, but you have to get it, dude. You're the quarterback. If there's 7 yards there, you got to go get it. I'm sorry. Even if you're Justin Herbert, you got to slide. You got to go in there. Even the announcers today said Justin Herbert had a first down in front of him. A couple times they said that today. You got to go for it. They have said that a lot this season. He actually played the opposite of Phillip Rivers today. Philip Rivers had the weak arm. He has the huge arm. He's falling in love with that big arm, man, trying to fit it into tight coverage between 3 defenders. Philip Rivers was always the guy that would loft it in. I wish Justin Herbert would do a little bit more of that. You hate to see a guy that has all this talent not doing reads the correct way like he has been the last couple weeks.
And we're also in a league where the quarterback runs. Every quarterback runs now. This isn't, 2004 when it's like, oh my God, why is your quarterback running? That's the most dangerous thing you could ever do. No, the quarterback runs now. If there's yards to get it. And he's not doing that. And for the people that are saying that, I don't know why you guys are, crapping on Herbert. Other people played bad. The defense put Herbert in this offense in so many awesome situations to score and never capitalized it. Late in the fourth quarter, we get the safety, right? Momentum's on our side. The stadium's finally loud for the first time. Feels like all day. But nothing. Earlier in the game, we have a chance to make a statement, get the first score of the game. Murray gets a pick, and it's like, all right, we can pounce on him early. Let's take the wind out of him. Nothing. We get nothing. You have to be able to play on both sides of the ball, and we have to have that same feeling you have with Mahomes, with Allen, with Manning in his day, Brady in his day, where if the defense gets a pick and it's on the opponent's side of the field, it's an automatic touchdown. It is red zone's going to stay on us because in 2 plays, it's the score. It's it. And instead, I'm watching the game going, I just hope we get a first down because I really don't know if we can get anything more than that.
I'm with you guys on that too, man. When it's third down, I have zero confidence we're going to get a third down conversion. It's crazy. I mean, you're looking at it going, how can this possibly be? You have Mike Williams, you have Austin Eckler, you have Everett, you have Herbert. How is it that you're so concerned about getting a third down conversion? Why are those numbers so bad? It's very interesting that it's a bye week here because obviously every team does the same thing in the bye weeks, guys. This is where you check yourself. This is where you do the team report card and you go through and you go, what are we doing good? What are we doing bad? Where's our organization as a whole? And if you're one of those teams that's like the Panthers that just traded Christian McCaffrey, you aren't going anywhere. You're already looking forward to the future. So that's where you start trading guys off. And there are rumors that there are more guys on their side that are going to be traded. You're going to start seeing that by more NFL teams. There's a lot of parity this year. And the Chargers aren't in that situation where they're going to start trading guys. That's not what I'm saying. But what I'm saying is they aren't doing it right. 4-3 is not acceptable for this roster. And we go back to this all the time that there are 8 guys in the top 100 that talent-wise, this is considered one of the top rosters in the league. Top 1 or 2. A top 1 or 2 roster should not be 4-3. Who does that fall on? Now, you guys said Herbert. Now, as far as coaching goes, would you dare make a change right now if you're Tom Telesco? Is there anything that you would possibly do to say that, hey, we can honestly think about making a change at coaching?
A change at coaching or a change in the players? Which one are you talking about?
Well, I think it's a lot easier to change one guy out than 53 guys out.
Well, you said earlier in the season, the Chargers usually don't change out coaches in the middle of the season. Do you think they would do something like that?
I almost think it's time. I honestly, I have zero faith in Brandon Staley. You just gave up 37 points to Geno Smith. I mean, how does that happen? Think about it. You're a defensive coach. You're a defensive coach. You gave up 37 points to Brandon Staley. I mean, to Geno Smith. You're Brandon Staley. That's what you're known for. How the hell does that happen?
How does that happen?
At home.
At home. We don't play good at home, which is the weirdest thing in the world.
Yeah.
We've played one team with a winning record this season, and we have 3 losses. How in the hell does that happen? You brought it up. The third down efficiency was awful. The inefficiency, we should say. 5 for 15 and 1 for 3 on fourth down. How?
Yeah,
how in the hell does that happen?
25%. I mean, that's insane.
Insane. Austin Eckler ran the ball 9 times. I know we're not pushing the ball on the run, but dude, 9 times for Austin Eckler, who I can make an argument for is the top 5 running back in the NFL. Holy hell, is Austin Eckler a great player? That's one thing I'm going to take away as a positive from this game is Austin Eckler is that ace card we have in our back pocket. He can do everything for us, but it doesn't mean anything if we're just throwing to him in the checkdowns. What's that going to do for our offense?
It's no rhythm. He's our best running back and he's our best receiver. It's just what it is. I think it's back-to-back games. He's led us in receptions and on the ground. Like, you just can't have that. I would love to sit here and say that, like, I want Staley out because I do, but I'm nervous because, like we're seeing the MLB right now. We got the Phillies that fired good old Joe, and they go on this great run and, they go on the World Series. That, like, never happens in the NFL. What happened last year with the Raiders is rare, right? So it's like when you fire a coach, you're pretty much pissing away the season. And it's scary to do that with a Mac on your team. It's scary to do that with Boza on your team, who's getting hurt pretty young. and I'm scared to see what he's going to look like getting hurt, getting older. You don't want to waste a year with these guys, with Keenan Allen. You just don't want to. So it's almost scarier to be like, I mean, it's almost smarter to be like, all right, well, let's stay with him. Unless we have a really good locker room guy, a really good locker room coach that can really inspire this team. I don't know. I think you have to sadly stay with Staley. Sad Staley. You gotta stay with him, I guess you have to. I don't want Lombardi taking over the headset and he's on the sidelines and not up in the box. Can barely look at the guy.
There has to be another coach on that staff that the players would rally behind. I mean, that's what happened with Bisaccia last year with the Raiders. The deal is this: if you're driving down the road, Mario, and you're lost, okay, are you just going to keep going the wrong way? Are you going to turn around and try and get on the right track? I mean, that's what you're saying, basically, is by staying with the same guy. I understand in baseball there are 162 games, but Robbie Thompson's going to the World Series with the Phillies on a team that people like it's over. We gotta hopefully aim for next year. For this Charger team, I literally have zero faith in what I'm watching from this coaching staff. And as you said, the crowd wasn't into it today. The crowd wasn't into it for Jacksonville. You guys say they don't play well at home. They haven't given you a reason to be into it. I'm not blaming the crowd. I mean, why would you sit there and cheer for that garbage? Both times against Jacksonville and against Seattle. So it's not the crowd's fault. At the same time, when I sit and I watch all these games and we see teams with, giant fan bases, whether it's Denver and they travel well, or Pittsburgh Steelers or the 49ers and the Chiefs and all these guys that, of course, let's be honest, it's freezing in those places. So those guys are all looking to get out of town and travel with their teams. And in Los Angeles, the weather's always great. So you aren't going to see that fan base yet travel along because this team isn't a favorite to go to the Super Bowl right now. They aren't the Buffalo Bills or the Chiefs. My point is with where the Chargers are doing right now, they're playing well below expectations. All three of us agree. So you have 2 weeks now to prepare for your very next game against the Atlanta Falcons, a team that they should beat, no problem at all. It's a perfect time to sit there and make a change if you're going to make a change.
It is the perfect time. I want to correct myself. The Chargers have played 2 teams with winning records, the Seahawks now and the Chiefs. I look at the Chargers coaching staff. There's not one guy on our coaching staff that has head coaching experience. I don't know what direction you would go. I'm not arguing with you saying you're wrong, but I can't point at one guy as an obvious selection that we have, waiting. I don't know what you would do.
Yeah, I mean, would Peyton take it halfway through the year?
Okay, now that's a great question. All right, Sean Payton. All right, obviously former New Orleans Saints coach, won a Super Bowl. Here's one of the reasons why I'm pushing this right now: is Sean Payton lives in Los Angeles. Okay, 2. The rumor is, the Cowboys are winning, so there's no hurry to change coaches with the Dallas Cowboys. But the rumor is the Cardinals are in a hurry to change coaches, and Cliff Kingsbury will be out. That Sean Payton is going to be offered that job. If I'm the Chargers, I'm like, how can you let him get away? You got an offensive genius with a great young quarterback. How can you dare blow this opportunity when he's right there in your neighborhood?
Okay. Here's the question, though. I want you to let's role play this. If you're on the Chargers, okay, and they bring in Sean Payton, does that kill the morale of the team or does it uplift it?
Uplifts it. All of a sudden, there's energy, and there's no effing around. There's no, if you're Keenan Allen or any of those guys, instant respect the minute you walk in that locker room because that guy has a ring.
I like it, dude. The offense couldn't be any worse. So why not just bring him in right now? What are you going to lose the routes where everybody runs in the same direction? That's what we have right now. I would totally bring in Sean Payton. I'm curious if he would do it, though. We brought it up earlier. Would he actually take over a team mid-season?
You know what, man? You don't know until you make the phone call. Here's the deal. I do it tomorrow. I literally make the phone call to him today, and if he's in, I said, tomorrow we're making a coaching change. We have 2 weeks to get ready with the new head coach. It changes everything because right now, as I said, we're just driving down the street going the wrong way, and we all know it.
What do you do with Joe Lombardi? Sorry to cut you off, Mario. What do you do with Joe Lombardi? He's the one calling the plays now.
He was on staff with Peyton, right? He came from the Saints. So I'd almost say you kind of gotta keep the devil to get the Lord, I guess. You know what I'm saying? I don't know. I guess you keep him around and be like, hey, this is a former guy you worked with that worked under you. He's trying his best to be like you. It's not working, but we bring you in. That's someone that you're familiar with.
You give him everything.
Yeah,
Don't you give him all the power outside of the draft? You're giving him all the power. Right. I mean, it's, Bill Parcells used to always say, they asked me to cook the meal. I want to be able to buy the ingredients. I don't think Sean Payton would say, I want control of the draft. He's not that guy. But at the same time, he's going to ask for major power. I mean, he's going to ask for everything he had in New Orleans and more and say, look, if you're asking me to come in and save the day, okay, I'm in. I got a great young quarterback. Name another situation where he's going to get any other job outside of Arizona where he has a franchise quarterback.
Oh,
Look, Kyler Murray's a tremendous
Oh,
talent. Okay.
dude.
But look,
don't
Kyler
compare
Murray's
Kyler Murray
making,
to Justin Herbert. God,
but he's
please
considered a franchise quarterback. All right. But it makes a tremendous money. He's a head case. He's a complete mess. Right.
It's
I mean,
nuts.
I can't think of a worse situation, to be honest with you, to have a young quarterback like Kyler Murray who's never won jack squat and wants to sit there and tell you, I'm the smartest guy on the field. Justin Herbert doesn't have that personality. This is a better fit for Sean Payton. But if the Chargers don't offer him the job and he's like, well, I got to get back into the NFL because I'm a competitor, and Arizona's offering me a job where the weather's warm and they have guys like DeAndre Hopkins on the team and they got talent, that maybe that Arizona job all of a sudden seems pretty interesting to me.
Sean Payton would want his own coaches on the staff, though, right? He wouldn't just come into a situation and take over Staley's coaches.
I don't know what he would do. As you guys said, he already has a relationship with Lombardi. So I don't know what he would do. I just said, let's get through step one. Let's pick up the phone and call and see if he's interested. Because, guys, I hate to say it, I feel like we're headed down another wasted Charger season.
Yeah. It's like putting 87 gas in a Ferrari. This team is
It's
hard to watch, dude. Like, really hard to watch.
Yeah.
I'll start with you, Mario. What bothers you the most about the team? Is there a certain player besides Justin Herbert where you just wondering, like, what the hell's going on?
What bothers me is just the energy of the team. They get dead really quickly. And as soon as they get dead, there's no revival. You know, and at points in this game, I'm like, where's the revival? Where's the turning point in this game? And a person I was really upset with, Corey Linsley.
Yep.
I thought he was going to come in this game and look at the O-line and go, all right, it's time for us to dominate on the ground, dominate against run, and really have a big impact on this game. Seahawks are not good against the run. They're not a strong defensive front. And we had 53 rushing yards on this team. 53. And on top of that, Corey, congratulations. You get 2 penalties on top of that. They're stupider than stupid. And we're right in front of the referee. It's like, nice going. I'm not gonna, all right, don't cuss. Family pod. But he does that on top of that. So I'm like, so our leadership that's supposed to come in for the O-line doesn't show up at all. And nor can we, really replace him either because our backups hurt. So it would be the third string guy that got blown up on the first play last week. So we have to deal with Corey, who just didn't show up to play at all. And the O-line just didn't show up to play. And it was just brutal to watch. And it was just flat from the start and flat till all the way. And honestly, I felt bad for the defense today because I felt like the offense really left them hanging through that whole game. What do you think there, Dave?
Yeah, I agree with everything you just said. I mean, I could point the finger in 800 different directions. You know what I take away from this, and I always think of this line that Tony Gonzalez said a couple years ago when he was saying 80% of the guys in the NFL don't care about wins and losses. It's about the paycheck. I understand that. You're putting your life at risk. We all know the average NFL player dies before guys who don't play in this league. It's an extremely physical game. It's extremely tough. Yeah, they make a lot of money if you're able to play for a long time, but you're really putting yourself out there. When you watch the fans and anyone that goes to NFL games in person, you look around, you're like, man, these guys are more into it than the players are. I mean, that's why you see fights in the stands and you don't see fights on the field. That you see these guys that are sitting there behind the goalposts are losing their mind, and whether it's the dog pound or it's in Los Angeles, their fans are so intense. Parking lot, you name it. And it costs a lot of money to go to games, and we're into it. And we put, for the people that watch on TV, we're putting 3 hours of our weekend into not only watching it, but we're thinking about it Monday through Sunday until that game happens. It gets frustrating as a fan for me that loves competition. And when, as I say, I watch a bunch of games, as all of us do. I'm sitting there today, for example, I'm watching the Colts Titans early on, and Matt Ryan's just getting the tar knocked out of him. But at the same time, Matt Ryan was like, I fumbled again, threw another interception again. It seemed like it didn't affect him at all, and you sit there and you're going, man, as a fan, it affects me. How come it doesn't bother this guy? When the game's over, he goes and he hangs out with his buddy, Austin Hooper, that he knew from the Falcons. And you're going, it doesn't matter. Then you see the jersey swaps and all that stuff. And you're going, to the players, does it mean as much to them as it means to us? And I'm not saying it has to. But there are some guys on the Chargers, you can tell it means a lot. You can see it hurts to lose. There's an embarrassment factor there. You see it in Derwin James. You see it in Khalil Mack. You see it in the guys that have been in the NFL for a long time. Austin Eckler, it kills them. And Mike Williams looks like he's starting to become that guy, which I like a lot, to be honest with you. Mike Williams seems frustrated when things aren't going well. And I think every one of those wide receivers, and let's be honest, their talent isn't very good outside of Keenan Allen. Those guys are just trying to make it in the league and stay. They're giving you everything they have. But when you're talking about veteran offensive linemen with dumb penalties and over again, you're going, man, come on, man. Pull your head out of your rear end. Let's go. Let's focus here. This isn't what quality football is about. You know better. You're a professional. And watching not only the Chargers, other games, I'm like, maybe it's my fault. Maybe it's our fault for being all in on a team that we expect more from.
That's not your fault. I think everybody thought the Chargers would be better than they've been. The difference between the Chargers and the Seahawks is their guys show up. And I'm not talking about their best players.
Yeah,
I'm talking
you're right.
about just the guys on the team, dude. We don't.
You're right.
Besides our top players, we rarely ever have a guy show up. Drew Tranquil did it a couple times. Where are the other guys? Does Nasir Adderley or any of these other guys on the team, Jerry Tillery, ever want to show up and just make a big play every now and then? Jerry Tillery, holy God, dude, get your head out of your rear end. I can't stand it, dude, when the guys that are just the role players, if you want to call them, are just there. We just have a lot of guys on the team that are just there. They just take up space, man. I can't stand that. We're such a top-heavy team. We have been the entire season. I would like for these other guys to elevate their game and just make a play every now and then. Kenneth Murray had a pick today. That was great. Besides that, we just don't have other guys really do much that aren't the top guys on the team.
Amari, let me cut you off real quick. What he just said, okay, I want to respond to. Everything you just said right there was talking about having a coach that demands respect, has a resume.
Mm-hmm.
Andy Reid, Mike Tomlin, Bill Belichick. Those guys aren't getting walked over. Those guys aren't getting less than 100% effort. The Tennessee Titans have the worst roster in the NFL. Mike Vrabel gets the most out of those guys. Those guys aren't better than the Chargers, or they shouldn't be, you know? And so it goes back to my argument. Again, it sounds like I'm doing a hatchet job on Brandon Staley, but something needs to shake things up. And you're right. I can't think of anyone on those teams, Patriots, Steelers, and the Steelers I know don't have a winning record. They don't have a quarterback either. They don't have anyone on offense. But those guys right there have coaches that have a resume. No one's sitting there not giving Andy Reid their best effort.
And there's a chip on his shoulder on all those teams. There's a chip on his shoulder. There's a unity in those teams. When it was already getting a little chippy in this game versus Chargers versus Seahawks, and we had Mac that's getting into it with Walker. My first thought was, honestly, I kind of want to fight, not for the entertainment factor, but for the factor of getting the guys together, getting a little unity going, getting a little attitude, a little culture to your team going. I remember when the Chicago White Sox were sucking this year in baseball, and Cody Decker said a million times so much I wanted to stop editing for him. But he said he was the best thing for the Chicago White Sox team is honestly a fight. He's like, they get a fight in there and they get unity, they get people backing each other. That's the best thing for you. I was watching this game. First thing I thought is when a game gets chippy in any physical sport, football, hockey's always chippy, but hockey, I'll throw lacrosse in there because I played. And all those moments when that happens, the team that is better coached will always pull out because he can get his guys going, hey, keep that attitude, keep that pop, finish that hit until after the whistle, but don't get a flag. Pete Carroll had his guys after that Walker and everything going, hey, get that attitude, get ready to go, but go through the whistle, then after that, be done. Chargers didn't have that. They lost their head. They lost their head, lost their focus. They didn't come together, and that's why we sit at 4-3 and not anything better.
The most concerning part about this Chargers team is how lifeless they are when they fall behind. I know you're going to say something, Dave. What's up?
No, so you see that window behind me? Kenneth Walker just ran right by it again. I don't know if you guys caught that. I mean, good God, 168 yards, 7.3 yards to carry. He's the backup. What the hell?
Yeah.
What are we doing?
It was just at Michigan State last year, and he's running all over us. Mario, I couldn't agree more about the fighting aspect. Dave said this all the time about baseball. He's a baseball coach. You love to see your team act like they care. If they start a fight, dude, that can ignite the entire team and bring them back from being lifeless to actually looking like they care. Khalil Mack starting the fight's great, dude. I think that's the best guy on the defense to start the fight. He's the most respected guy, along with probably Derwin James. If he starts a fight, that should wake everybody up.
Yeah.
The defense did make enough plays, even though they gave up, the Seahawks scored 37 points. They did put the Chargers in situations to come back and maybe cut it to a one-score game or tie it up, whatever it may be. They just never responded. I do like the aspect of Khalil Mack getting into a fight. It didn't work, but it's better than doing nothing.
There's a time and place when to do it. I mean, obviously you don't want to do it when you're driving down the field, and you don't want to do it to give them 15 big yards in a game that's not determined. But there's a time in that game where you know that it's over. They aren't going to win. They're too far behind. There's not enough time left on the clock to let your teammates know, hey, going into the bye week, I'm not okay with losing to the Seattle Seahawks or anyone else for that matter. And if I'm going to get ejected or I'm going to rip a guy's helmet off and chuck it down the field, fine, eject me from the game. The game's over anyway. But at least you can let the guys in the locker room know this isn't okay. This isn't what I signed up for. I'm a veteran. I have enough money in the bank account. All that matters to me right now is wins and losses and getting a Lombardi trophy. And that's what Khalil Mack is thinking. There's a time and place for it. And Look, I'm not always encouraging violence because I know people freak out on this, but we
I
used to
am.
have the attitude. We used to have the attitude in baseball. It changes a lot. And I'm not saying it as a high school coach. I'll say it as a guy that coaches travel ball. Will say we're protected. But we used to say all the time to our guys, look, we're winning one or two things today. We're either winning the game or winning the fight. And
Oh yeah.
you know what? We never got bullied off the field. And you know what? At the same time, we won 90% of our games because we had that attitude when we took the field. I'm better than you. And that scoreboard's going to show it when it's over. Today, the Chargers didn't show anything to show that I'm better than you.
Yeah.
And they weren't.
No, not at all. One of the things that makes me laugh is when the broadcasters say, this is a physical game. Well, no crap. It's football.
They're all physical. Oh, that and bulletin board material. Well, if you need bulletin board material, you weren't 100% in anyway.
My point being is, and football is physical, but there's some games that are more physical than others. There hasn't been one Charger game this year where I'm like, they're really out there hitting. All of our tackles are coming 7 yards down the field on the running backs or the receivers, whatever it may be. We are not being the aggressors in these games. We're getting pushed around. We're getting bullied. We're straight up getting bullied in these games, like Kenneth Walker today and Geno Smith. When Geno Smith is nodding his head like, I got it going on.
Yeah.
You're like, dude, I got so angry over here. I had to knock out some push-ups, dude. Dude, it just bothers me. He's like, do you know you're Geno Smith? But he did have it going on. Who's going to send a message on this team that's not Khalil Mack or Derwin James? Who's going to show up? I've been waiting for that all season. Asante Samuel Jr., I think he's a great player. Dude, catch the ball. I know it would have been a great play if you dive and you catch it, but for God's sakes, dude, one time, can you just catch the freaking ball? Drives me nuts. I just want some guys to make some plays, man, when we need it, offense or defense. Let's show up. Sorry.
No,
I don't disagree.
Wasn't his father known for that too? That was him, right? I saw the same where his father had bricks for hands.
Those guys need to be like that movie Little Giants, start throwing toilet paper at each other. Good God, they got skillet hands. These guys couldn't catch a cold. Yeah,
Gerald Everett, dude, has been having issues too with drops. I think on offense, I get confused watching him play the most. It looks like he doesn't know when he's going to run a route in or out with Justin Herbert. They're not on the same page. And then a couple of times this year, it gets thrown right into his chest and he drops it. Gerald Everett's a confusing guy to watch. I do agree with what you said earlier, though, about Mike Williams. He looks like he cares more than ever, and I love that. I would just like to see him and Keenan Allen on the field at the same time. We never get that.
No, we don't. And it's funny. There's certain guys that are giving you everything they have, and that's just what they have. They just aren't great. I mean, Drew Tranquill is giving you everything he has, but he's never going to be that Hall of Famer, that Pro Bowler. He's not that guy. But at the same time, he's giving you 100%. There, you mentioned guys like Tillery. Wow, we watched Tillery for years. I mean, almost to the point when the Chargers drafted him, you're going, oh boy, was that the right guy? And Kenneth Murray, was he the right guy? And you sit there and you shake your head and going, is it because you don't want to look bad as a GM and Tom Telesco and you drafted them so high that you hold these guys in such high regard? Or are you going to sit there and basically stop falling in love with the players that you picked and notice, hey, you know what? I picked the wrong guy. Happens all the time. Go through any NFL draft and going, that's a bust, that's a bust, that's a bust. So that's weird. There's a guy in the third or fourth round that ended up being very good, or a guy that was a free agent signing that ended up being really good. Sometimes you just got to be honest with yourself and go, you know what? I screwed up on this one. I thought I had it. I didn't. Our scouting department blew it too. Boom. Let's move on. Let's bring someone in that can play. But there are too many guys that can't play. I hate to say it, and this is really sad, man, on this one. When J.C. Jackson got hurt, dude, I don't think there was anyone outside of J.C. Jackson's family that felt bad. I mean, it sounds so bad to say, and I know it's awful. Am I 100% right on this? But when he got hurt, it's not like, oh, no, take my eyes, but not J.C. Jackson. It wasn't one of those. It's terrible. You guys are all sitting there saying it's the wrong thing to say. Yeah, I know it's the wrong thing to say. But look, I'm telling you, he has done nothing to help this team. He's hurt this team more than he's helped the team.
I will say I did write, taking notes during the game and everything, and I wrote out, J.C. Jackson gets burnt again. Like, take him out. Like, sit him. I'm done with him. And some other curse words. So I'm writing this. I'm doing my mad typing. I look up. I see we have 8 players kneel down next to him, and I just go, huh, okay. Well, God bless. Say a quick prayer, real quick. Love God and all that good stuff. But he wasn't. I mean, if we're gonna be honest, he wasn't playing good. I mean, he had that one play where he knocked out DK Metcalf's hands, and I was like, okay, he's back. But then, I mean, on that go route, dude. I mean, Goodwin went right by him, and it goes back to what you're saying, Josh. We have. Allen and Williams for these great receivers, and then there's a huge drop off. It's like the Lakers with LeBron and AD. It's like name the third best player, and you got to go to the local JV team in Minneapolis, Indiana to find it. It is exactly what happened to us. Marquise Goodwin beats us on a route. He has 2 touchdowns today. That is so ridiculous. That shouldn't be happening. So I'm not going to agree with Dave, but what I'm going to say is
You just said love God and all that stuff.
Yeah,
And then it makes cross-signing.
I'm not gonna co-sign it, but I'm gonna say if we're in line, I'm behind you. I'm pretty far, but I'm there. Yeah. If
covering your mouth, what he said like that?
Yeah.
What he said.
If it was like everyone vote, put your head down, I'll raise my hand for you. But if people are looking up, I'm out.
JC Jackson's been the biggest surprise of the team this whole year, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
I just can't believe it. He has to be hurt. He has to be hurt. There's no way JC Jackson, the one from
He's
the
definitely hurt now.
Yeah, he's definitely hurt. Yeah, Mr. INT gets burnt, dude. Like he's never played football. It's the craziest crap in the world. I couldn't agree more with you, dude. As a fan, you're like, okay, who's in? He can't do worse than JC Jackson. I hope he comes back healthy, but holy crap, dude, he looks terrible. All right, going forward, let me ask you a question, Dave. What would you do besides coaching? Would you change out any of these players? Would you take anybody out? Would you leave who's in?
Honestly, I'm not at practice every single day, so I can't sit there and tell you what the coaches see. So I always hate to do that. I mean, I don't wish injury on anybody. It sounds like I've gone after Staley before the season even started. I thought that might be the downfall. This has been much worse than I thought it was going to be. But this is what every team does during the bye week. They tell the guys, look, take some time off. We'll see you guys on Friday. We'll get ready for our next game against Atlanta. Let's get healthy. Let's get your treatment if you need it. Everyone's going to be in the facility. But otherwise, go ahead and do your thing. And you see a lot of times this is where guys go back and you'll see them on sidelines of their college games or whatever, Cancun, wherever they go. But if you're Tom Telesco, you don't do that. You're Tom Telesco, you're Brandon Staley, you're in that facility, and you're sitting there, you're going through every single guy on that roster, all 53 guys. Which guys stay with us the rest of the year? Which guys maybe need a shot to start? Which guys should go to the bench? All that stuff that you have to do to gut check where you're at, because this is all 100% of how strong is this team, this franchise, and the window of opportunity, which everybody talks about, right? The window of opportunity to compete for a Super Bowl. And this is supposed to be a season where the window of opportunity is open, that it's not closed. The team that just beat your ass, the window was supposed to be closed, and they killed you.
Yeah. I wonder how far away guys like Joey Bosa, Rashawn Slater are from coming back. Do you think the players on the team are looking for these guys to come back? I don't understand what their thought process is, because with the team we have now, there's no chance we can beat the Chiefs. Did anybody watch the Chiefs game today?
I did. It was one of those where I told you I thought the Niners are one of the best teams in football, and you're going, how did you say it? If the Niners played the Rams every week, they're 100% the best team in football. But it's amazing how the Niners are so good against the Rams, but look so bad against every other team. So you talk about when guys come back. Okay, I'm just looking at the Chargers schedule that's in front of me. So you look at Slater. The earliest that Slater would come back would be what we're hearing, December 4th at the Raiders. Okay, that would be December 4th against the Raiders. And then when you look at Bosa, I'll be honest with you, if the Chargers aren't playing and winning games, and that means the next few games, Falcons, Niners, Chiefs, they aren't playing well in the next 3 games after the bye week, wouldn't be surprised if you never see Bosa this year. Yeah. Bosa's good. The groin injury is not good enough. I'm not 100%. Let's be 100% healthy for 2023. I don't know if you guys noticed, but I got a long-term contract.
Yeah.
I swear to God, I think that's what goes through his head. It sounds terrible, but I think that's exactly what goes through his head. Bosa's not that guy that's going to go, I'm going to sit there and put my health at risk and go out of a field for a losing team. Slater's young, and he's on that rookie contract, and he's like, dude, it's a torn bicep, and it hurts like hell, but yeah, guess what? I'm coming back as soon as I can. He would be back before Bosa if he could.
It wouldn't surprise me either if we're in this situation and Staley's lost the locker room and it's pretty evident that he's gone at the end of the year. Bosa's like, why would I waste snaps, waste time, waste the beating on my body for a guy that's not even going to be here? That guy that doesn't have control of the locker room that I don't even want to play for. I can still take this $100+ million and sit out of here. I think definitely for this
and be a starter. There's no one else on that roster where he's not going to be the starter.
Yeah,
he's not losing his job.
And I made up this term, but I think during this bye week, call the dumb teams, call the Panthers. I said, but just feel it, feel out. What spots are we missing on the team? What are you giving up? Call the Bears. The Bears are stupid. They do everything stupid. Call the Lions. Call the stupid teams and just feel it out. Feel out what's going on in the league. Feel out what's going on in the market. You don't have to reveal what like you're going for, but just look at the spots that you need filled, and let's see where it's at. Now I'm actually sitting on this official take with you, Josh. What's OBJ? How's the knee?
Yeah. Okay. So you
how's the knee?
You beat me to it. All right. I'm gonna throw out a few names. You guys tell me what you think. We'll start with OBJ. You would absolutely want the Chargers to pursue OBJ, correct? If he's healthy.
Yes, we need someone that has that's a veteran that can catch.
Okay. What about T.Y. Hilton? Would you want him?
No.
Mario
lives in Indianapolis, so you tell me.
Mario, what do you think?
Feeling Mario from the outside was always T.Y. Hilton was always the third best receiver on that team, but they treated him like a number one.
But it's just because he's probably one of the best people you'll ever meet. He's an amazing person. So for that, I'll say yes, because he could be a good locker room, good guy, could be a good leader guy. Because right now, is Allen and Williams good leaders?
Dude, they're good guys pumping gas at the Shell station. Doesn't mean I want them playing wide receiver for the Chargers. I want guys to catch the damn ball.
Yeah.
All right. A couple more guys. All right. You mentioned the Panthers. DJ Moore. He wants out. I think he's one of the most underrated players in the NFL. Yeah. Would you want the Chargers to trade a first-round pick for DJ Moore? Would you do that deal?
Not a first rounder. The Panthers are talking mad crazy stuff right now. I mean, they're talking 2 first rounders for their pass rusher. They're talking DJ Moore first round. Not a first rounder. First rounders are guys who are, no way. Not a first rounder. Would I go second or third? I'd think about it.
Okay. What about you, Mario?
Yeah, I would. There's a guy on BetMGM Game Day this morning said that's smoke and mirrors, the 2 first-round picks. It's like one of those where you throw that out there as the Panthers leak it and be like, yeah, this is what we're asking for. So yeah, I would chomp at the bits for DJ Moore. I'd give up a first, to be honest with you. I think I would.
Okay, I think one of
What about you?
Me, Josh, I would give up a second or third round pick for DJ Moore. First round
is a quarterback, is a franchise quarterback. 2 first rounds for a franchise quarterback is what you would talk, right? I mean, what did Garoppolo get when he came from New England? Wasn't it like 2 second-round picks? And he's supposed to be the franchise quarterback of the Niners that led him to the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
I'd trade him for a wide receiver for a first-round pick.
Out of those 3 guys, I want OBJ. I don't know if the OBJ wants to actually become a Charger, though. That's the issue. I think another weak point.
You think OBJ just wants to be wanted? He's one of those guys that loves the attention right now?
Right now?
Yeah.
OBJ always loves the attention.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I mean, he loves this Green Bay stuff. He loves this Charger stuff. He loves the Ram stuff. All this, right?
Yeah.
I mean, OBJ is laughing his ass off that Cam Akers can't get along with the Rams because he was pissed at Cam Akers for taking his number. I mean, don't think he's not the happiest guy going watching Cam Akers crash and burn.
All right. One more guy at the receiver position. Deshaun Jackson.
I thought Deshaun just signed this week. Didn't Deshaun just sign this week with?
Did he sign this week? If he does,
I think so. Yeah,
he signed with the Ravens this week. Yeah, and the answer would have been no.
Deshaun
Jackson.
PR nightmare.
Okay. All right. I'm going to move on to one more position. I think the Chargers need some help. Backup running back. Austin Eckler is obviously the only guy that can run the ball for our team. In my opinion. 3 guys I'm going to throw out. You tell me if you want any of them. Tariq Cohen, Adrian Peterson, Le'Veon Bell. Do you want any of them as a backup running back?
Go ahead, Mario. I'll let you answer first because one of them you know really well.
I'm staying so far away from Bell and anyone that's doing celebrity boxing. And that's just an out for me. Cohen, I actually think would fit in this offense. The way we use Eckler, I think Cohen could actually really, really work. Just a speedy guy in the backfield. I think that could really work for us. I think he'd be pretty valuable. I would take that, especially with I'm blanking on his name that's hurt right now. With that can't back Kelly. Yeah, I would sign Cohen. It would be cheap, it'd good, and he's a hard worker.
All right, let me throw one more at you because Cohen would be the only one, by the way, to the 3 you just mentioned. I have no desire for the other 2 guys. Let me throw another one at you that I know would be on the trade block. Kareem Hunt.
100%.
Mm-hmm.
Kareem Hunt will be on the trade block. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. He's not happy where he's at. The Browns are 2-5. By the time Deshaun Watson comes back, the Browns aren't going to be competitive. I mean, it's going to be too late to make a run for the postseason. Should be, at least. It makes sense for them to trade Kareem Hunt. Would you be interested in having him on your team?
Depends on how much we have to give up. Do you think he'd be happier being a Charger, though? Austin Eckler's in the game all the time.
I think he'd love to be in a division where we could stick it to the Chiefs.
Good point. That's a good point.
Very good point. Yeah. I think you'd love to beat the crap out of him.
I think the biggest change, I agree with Dave from what he said earlier, is Brandon Staley. You got to start there with the head coach. We cannot win games if we have mismanagement from the top. I mean, the fish stinks from the head down, and that's what the Chargers are right now. They're just a mess. I think you got to make a coaching change going into the bye week.
Because I'll be honest with you, there's not another coach out there that comes to mind that I think of that could replace him and go, it's worth making the move. You know, I mean, you have a guy with Super Bowl credentials that lives in your neighborhood, and you have the franchise quarterback. You have everything that he would want. That's what makes me think like this is the time to make that phone call. I don't know. Maybe Tom Telesco's already made that call. Maybe he makes that call every week. I don't know what the Chargers are doing. As Mario said, you don't know what happens behind the scenes, but I would definitely look into it. There's no way you're leaving SoFi Stadium today if you're Tom Telesco, you're Dean Spanos going, hey, we're good. We're good. Everything's all right. We'll see you guys in 2 weeks in Atlanta. This isn't good. The schedule gets extremely tough towards the end of the season, and you don't want to be in that situation where you see Charger teams all the time where you're saying, all right, who do we have to beat and who has to lose for us to even make it into the dance? That's what's always gets frustrating when you aren't in control of your own destiny.
Would before we go, should we go through how our picks?
Yeah, I want to know how do we do?
So
Not good.
I tanked. Yeah, it was a bad bounce back. So yeah, it was bad. Dave, you killed it. 8-4 headed into
8-4. Okay.
Josh, you did really good too. 7-5. And then everyone across the board has Miami and Pats to finish it. So everyone needs that. I went 6 for 6 after a good start last week. So 6 for 6. Yeah, a little fumbled. Falcons let me down. Jags let me down. Wasn't good. You can't.
Both of you guys picked Jacksonville in that, and the whole time I'm like, I'm shocked you guys picked Jacksonville. But if you saw that game, Jacksonville only lost by 1 yard. Do you see that? The last play of the game.
Yeah.
And I was like, the whole time I'm like, God, are these guys dumb? And then, or maybe I'm dumb. But you guys are only 1 yard away from winning that game.
Yeah, and they decided, we don't care about the Bolt City records or anything, and someone might have put a teaser on them, but why feel things? But yeah, we did good. Like, we're doing good. I think altogether we're very net positive, but Chargers need to figure a lot of stuff out. And OT bet didn't hit this week, but it was close.
Okay.
It's very close.
All right. One of the things I want to do this week in our 2 shows that we have remaining this week is go into kind of a look at the team. Kind of like if we were Tom Telesco and we're looking at that report card and we're looking at like which guys are pulling their weight, which guys aren't. What moves need to be made on this Charger team? So something to look forward to as far as the direction of this team, who's basically doing what we thought they would do, and who basically has been a disappointment. So we'll dive more into what's happening with the Chargers. Again, it's a bad day for Charger football, for Charger fans. They lose today big time to Seattle. Final score 37-23. And again, to a Seattle team that just didn't see it coming. Most importantly, I keep thinking we lost to Geno Smith. How the hell did that just happen? So we'll be back on Tuesday for our very next Bolt City podcast, again, courtesy of Odyssey. Again, for Josh Pele, Mario Heron, I'm Dave Pele. We'll talk to you in a couple days, everybody.